Hey folks, so here's the thing. Now that the dust has settled with regards to the news that the US and China have reached some tentative agreement on trade, that China is seeking for total world dominance. That is what they want. They want total world dominance when it comes to the economy, when it comes to the military. And no matter how you look at the Chinese, whether you're looking at the lens of ideologically that, okay, they're a communist country, that's not really what motivates them. What motivates them is total world dominance. They're not trying to spread communism to the world. What they are trying to do is to extend Chinese dominance over every country in the world. I mean, if you look at the area of rare earth minerals, for instance, I keep wondering, how did the West allow this to happen? How did the United States in particular allow this to happen? To allow China to control 90% of the world's processing of rare earth minerals. I'm looking now at the facts that there's a leading American rare company, which was a rare earth processing company, which was American at the time, was sold to the Chinese in 1995. 1995, folks. I've been telling you that the Chinese have been working on this world dominance project for at least 40 or 50 years. This company, which was American owned at the time, Magnequench, was sold to the Chinese in 1995, and it included a consortium that included two Chinese state-owned firms. The sale of this company and its subsequent relocation to China by early 2000s was a major factor in the US losing its domestic rare earth magnet manufacturing capabilities and contributing significantly to China's eventual dominance of the global rare earth supply chain. So many of the advantages that China has them because the West has been asleep on the wheel. This is case in point. The reason why China dominates rare earth minerals processing is because the US allowed it to happen by selling your technology to China. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? And China's declaration of its intent for world dominance now is out in the open. They want to dominate the world. They want to dominate everyone. They want to dominate all of us. And the question for me is, what will the West do about this? What will the West do about this? Because obviously the people who stand to suffer the most from total Chinese dominance are nations that are immediately neighboring China, like Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Nepal. And obviously, as India is a world power, so India will resist that for the longest time possible. India is not only a world power, but India is also a nuclear power. So at the very least, we have the counterpower there. And the issue here is not that India is pro-West. The issue is that India is a benevolent power. Obviously, I mean, there isn't a power that is completely benevolent, but I'd rather have India be the world power than have the Chinese. The things that these people have done in South America, I'm talking about the Chinese now, and the things that they continue to do in Africa, they make it look like colonialism that Africans went through look like a walk in the park. These people are brutal. These people are harsh and very cruel. You don't even have to look further than to see the evidence of their cruelty in terms of how they are treating certain Muslim minorities in China. I can tell you now that a lot of the technologies that the Chinese are leading in, a lot of it they bought it from Western companies, and some of it they actually stole it from Western companies. It is official state policy to steal technology. I remember watching a FBI briefing in 2018 where they were saying that 50% of all intellectual property theft cases that they deal with stateside are relating Chinese related individuals and Chinese companies and Chinese authorities. It is official Chinese policy to steal intellectual property. And the question for me is that while we know that that happens, how then would you sell a critical technology company like a rare earth processing company to the Chinese as far back as 1995? This is what happened in 1995. This is why I'm saying that a lot of the people in the West, they're not even in the game. They're not even in the game. So it's a mess, folks. It's a complete mess. And I've already said to you that there's nothing in the world that scares me like the Chinese. There's nothing that scares me like the Chinese. These people scare me shitless. And this is not to say that the West has not committed many crimes all over the world. The West, like I talk about some of the crimes that the West commits in some of my videos. But the problem, the difference with the West is that they have some semblance of of being civilized, if I'm going to put it that way. This is not to say that the West is benevolent in treating people around them. No, the West is not. The West commits serious crimes all over the world. And I suppose because the West has some level of openness that you can, within certain limits, criticize the West. There's a certain level of checks and balances that come with the excesses of Western power. Yes, it's not absolute and it's not perfect. But the problem with China is that China is a complete black box. That if you are on the wrong side of these people, you can just disappear from the face of the earth and no one will ever hear about you. And even as I'm speaking about this, I worry also because like I've made so many videos criticizing the Chinese that I wonder sometimes if I were to go to China, would I be safe? But luckily for me, I'm not looking forward to going to China. I have no interest in going to China. Mainly because I think, because obviously when you're applying for a visa for any country in the world, they check your social media, they check the things that you've done in the past, and they check that whether you are a national security threat. The difference with China is that they could potentially, if I'm applying for a visa, they allow me to get a visa, they admit me into China, and then I disappear from the face of the earth. That's likely to happen. That is how brutal these people are. And so it really scares me shitless to have these people be the primary economic power in the world or the primary military power in the world. We cannot let this happen. And for me, I don't care whoever it is, as long as it's not China. I don't even mind it being Russia for that matter. I don't mind it being Russia or being India, being the largest power, the largest economy, the largest military in the world. Any of those countries. It doesn't have to be America, as long as it's not China. And a lot of you folks who think that I unfairly target China, you have no idea who these people are. You absolutely have no idea who these people are. I'm telling you. So for me, the matter of China not becoming the top dog in the world is a matter of survival for most of us. It's a matter of survival. It's just as it was said in Game of Thrones, that when you're fighting the Game of Thrones, either you win or you die. And on this battle with China, it is a matter of survival. It's simply a matter of survival. Losing is not an option. And this battle, for instance, between the United States and China will not stop until there's an outright winner. But I can tell you now what will help to actually ensure that China doesn't win is if Europe actually wakes up from their slumber. The West really needs to wake the hell up. Anyways, cheers.